Hey there, it's Jeremy. It's been a while since I've been out. Things have been kinda busy, you know? We've been dealing with a lot. And, I've been dealing with a lot. But, I wanted to talk about something that, I was going through different topics that we wanted to talk about for a video, you know, and I saw this one that I thought looked like something I'd really like to talk about. So, I'm going to talk about the myth that if you got DID or OSDD, that means that you're easy to hypnotize. Now look, some people are easy to hypnotize, okay? Some people, it's pretty simple. Other people, not so much. And same goes if you got DID or OSDD. Doesn't mean that you're just all of a sudden easy to hypnotize. Like, we're not. We cannot be hypnotized. We don't cede control very well, as you can imagine. And we're not real big on the whole idea of somebody fiddling around in our brain. Seems a bit not a good idea, you know? So because of that, we can't do any of that whole, recovering memory hypnosis thing that people think seems to be their idea of what causes DID or OSDD. The reality is, I've never talked to anybody who's ever actually had that kind of hypnosis. I don't think they still use it anymore because they figured out it was kind of a bad idea. You know, planting suggestions and whatnot. So I'm pretty sure they don't use it anymore. Don't quote me on that. I can't say for sure. But I've never heard of anybody nowadays using it. Now, does that mean that nobody with DID can ever be hypnotized? Of course not. Everybody's different. Some people can be hypnotized. Some people can't be hypnotized. Do I think it's a good idea? Not really. If you've got DID, getting hypnosis seems like it could be problematic. Seems like you might be inviting members of the system who maybe already deal with the outside world, or maybe might pose a threat to the system or to the body to all of a sudden front because you're poking around in your brain. It just doesn't seem like a good idea to me. But the general idea I wanted to cover is that people think that if you got DID or OSDD, it means that you're suggestible. It doesn't. It means you got a brain that's good at dissociating. That's it. We got a brain that's good at dissociating because that's what it learned to do. It protected us, let us be alive. Bing, bang, boom. See? But it doesn't mean that just any old nuke can walk up and convince us of anything. We're not gullible. We're not stupid, you know? So, this whole idea that just because you have something that means that you're real suggestible is insulting. A little bit rude. Know what I mean? Actually, it's a lot rude. Let's be honest, it's a lot rude. So, maybe don't do that. But basically what you gotta worry about here is people running around thinking that, you know, everybody who's got DID can be hypnotized and that therapists are creating DID with hypnosis. No. The only way that we've ever heard of anybody was ever convinced they had DID when they didn't was when they had something else and they were misdiagnosed. which doesn't happen very often with DID because a lot of people don't like to diagnose it in the first place. The only other one is when people were doing not kosher practices in their therapy and were using a lot of psychiatric medications, ways they're not supposed to be used, to convince people that they had things they didn't have. And it wasn't just DID. Schizophrenia, all kinds of things. There's bad people. It happens. We're kind of used to this fact that there's bad people. Some people, I guess, think that just because this person over here is a mook, that means everybody's one. That's not how it works. So, just the cover, I mean, just because you have DID doesn't mean that you can be hypnotized. Okay, dissociation is not the same thing as hypnosis. Dissociation is something your brain does itself. Hypnosis is something you're put under by somebody else. To be hypnotized, you have to be willing to give up that kind of control to another person, and without getting into detail with what we went through, that is not something we are willing to do. So, next time somebody tells you that having DID or OSDD means somebody's easy to hypnotize, or that you are easy to hypnotize because you've got DID or OSDD, tell them they don't know what they're talking about. Because not all of us can be hypnotized. And lots of systems that I've talked to, the few times that I've been out, because I'm not out the most, they weren't able to be hypnotized either. So, it's obviously not like everyone can be. It's not even seeming like it's the majority, just, based on what I'm reading. So, seems like kind of a shaky idea, if you ask me. But that's just me. Well, guess, that's all I got to say on the matter, so I guess I will talk to you guys again the next time I show up. Goodbye.